Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. I'm James. This is Sean. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us with PushTalk. And so we came across a couple stories. One of them, excuse me. I don't know if you all had heard about it, but a white guy in a Popeyes. He goes into a tirade at Popeyes and goes off on the employees there. Again, and this is, I mean, again, we're beating a dead horse.
Yes.
You know, it's a story that we've heard play out. But we hear about it, but we don't always see it in this light. In fact, he actually threatened, said that he would lynch one of the employees to a tree.
Right.
And so I kind of, made my ears, my eyeballs perk up, my ears perk up, because after all these years, these things are still going on. And now, I don't know if that kind of threat is considered at this point, it should be considered a hate crime.
Right.
Even as a threat, not that he actually had gone through with it.
Yeah.
There was I guess one of the employees called the man a cracker, but I guess, I want to know, the part I don't know is what prompted the whole
scenario,
the whole thing. The story never really tells it, but one of the things that maybe he was upset about his order and came back in and started going off.
Right.
And they retaliated, and he called them. They started calling each other names and everything. And it really, one of the things you can't do. I mean, if you in today's society, we cannot threaten to do bodily harm in that manner,
right,
and then expect not to
provoke a reaction.
Get a reaction in such a way that may cost you your freedom. He might have gone there because he was provoked.
Right.
But just because we're provoked doesn't mean that we have to go there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like your true colors would come out in times of, in times of stress. You're going to default to who you really are. I mean, even if he isn't, if he's making these comments and really not going to act on them, it's still, I mean, he's totally aware of how it's going to come off.
Right.
He pretty much said that he would, if one of them came outside, then he would do X, Y, Z, and it's kind of just like. You get to the point where you're just tired of the same scenario over and over again.
Right.
You know what I mean? And one of the employees said something about calling the cops, and he was saying, go ahead and call them. So it's just like, I don't know if he felt like if they did show up that they would take his side or what was in his mind. But, you get to the point where you're just exhausted of seeing these type of scenarios play out and then playing out in the media once again. It's just a cycle of exhausting footage.
Right. Well, one of the things we came up on is that this guy, 32-year-old Norsworthy, I'll just use the last name, but anyway, the Okeechobee, Florida, at a Popeyes. And apparently he claims that an employee called him a cracker. But when the manager asked what he said to her, the man admits calling her.
Right.
So apparently this is how it started.
Right.
So him and the employee went back and forth. The manager called the police.
Right.
It doesn't show when they showed up or anything. It didn't go to, it didn't go there. But it also showed that there was a couple things that he had done. Apparently, he was charged with strangling his partner in 2014. So this guy has a violent history record, on record.
Right.
You got some folks, they got violent history, but they may not have gone to jail for it and never been charged or anything. They just didn't get caught.
Yeah.
But he is definitely, he was charged before. So his tirade weighs more now because he has a record to back it up, really, which means that, had the employee stepped out,
who knows
it may have escalated even more so. And the threat of hanging someone from a tree is becomes that much more serious. And and it's crazy that, like you say, in this day and age, man, that these kind of things are still happening. But this is what is inside of people when you, like I said, that when they get stressed, their true colors start to come out.
I mean, I really would like to see some type of legislation kind of have the same. The Asian community has an Asian hate crime, legislation where they're protected, from things of this nature. I mean, I feel like, I don't know what's taking so long to, expedite this type of process for other communities, but I think that it should be something done about what's going on, if that's the case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it certainly didn't take long for the Asian community to get protected now, did it?
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as, who's been in this country and supported every incentive that or idea that they've had in this country, in building the country, why can't we get our just dues? Is the question that's, presented.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to continue to ask why.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess, again, we're beating the dead horse on that one.
Yeah.
But it's just unfortunate that we have to continue to see and hear stories like this.
Right.
Apparently, some people just, they're okay with just their tirades and, think it's okay to be able to show their true colors in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, the funny thing is that up until a few years ago, yes, we knew racism was out there. People just did not show it on a consistent, regular basis as they do today. And since then, we've had, just all kind of things going on, and but again, technology has changed. You got more cameras and video footage and all these different events that are taking place today, and so technology can help us, it can hurt us, because it certainly has nailed, gotten law enforcement. Technology has proven that law enforcement agencies have done wrong, and it was the video footage that proved it.
Right.
The vigilantes.
Right.
It was the video footage that proved it. So technology has helped us, but it has certainly hurt. On one side of the coin it helps, and on the other side of the coin, if you're the aggressor, it hurts you. Right. But yet and still, the aggressor still goes out and does what he does.
I mean, the only thing I can say about that is at least, the camera's only going to take what's going on. So it's kind of like the unbiased truth. If it's unadulterated footage, everybody gets to see the truth for what it is, and are able to make their decision on what should be done, how, right and wrong. If you see it right in front of your face, it shouldn't be that hard to determine. Yeah,
and in recent past, you've had people who behaved in this manner who it cost them their jobs. Men and women alike, man, when they had just gone off on somebody. People are really, businesses are trying to distance themselves from that kind of behavior. And but even though the businesses are doing that, you still have employees that go out and do, and with knowing that the video camera's there,
Right.
and still do it, and apparently they think that they're above the law, but those days are quickly falling behind us, as we're seeing today. People are losing their jobs behind their personal feelings when it comes to race, gender, and all those things that we talk, religion,
Right.
and stuff, and you just can't. Today, you just can't be that person. You can't be that dude.
Right.
And if you are that dude or do that, then just be prepared to deal with the consequences. And if you're okay with the consequences, and I'll tell you, by all means, help yourself. But just know and understand that there is a price to pay with this. And if you're okay with paying the price, then I can't stop you from being who you are.
I mean, it's funny, the fact that we haven't had any laws placed on the books for these things, but society is saying that it's wrong. So it does help to have a camera there to be able to show the truth, and then if this person is a pariah, then they should be treated as such.
Yes.
If they can't be brought to justice by the government, the people are the government. So we should have some type of way of administering some type of justice. If we can't get it through law, at least to make this person an outcast. If they want to carry themselves this way and be detrimental to society, society should have some type of mechanism, and social media has kind of turned that into just making life hard for these people, where before they could get away behind a cloak of darkness.
All right.
So the fact that the light will be shined on this person, I mean, they probably go back into his his social media, where he works at, maybe where he lives at, to just say, this guy is a troublemaker. Just keep your eyes open, and if you see something, say something.
Yeah. So here's the question then. What do we do with the people that, where do they go? What do? They get a job elsewhere? They start their own business? What do you do with a group of people who are
lawless, I think
at some point you think that
they should be.
The learning curve is still there,
right?
And you can't continue to do things the way you've been doing, and it costs you your job,
right?
And so that means that it's going to cost your household,
right?
However, so as an individual, I'm just curious to know, what do they end up doing after that? Because now your name is in the media, you're all over the news, and social media. Where do you go? What kind of job do you end up getting?
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't respect human rights, people respect money. So if you start losing your money, then your perspective might change on how you're carrying yourself.
Absolutely.
So hit people in the pockets. That's how the major corporations may if they get boycotted or people stop using their products, then they seem to have attention where before they had a blank spot or a blind spot. They may not, or maybe air quotes, maybe they know that this was going on, but when it's brought to their attention, now the spotlight is on their activity. Now it's like, well, how are you as a company going to carry yourself? What do you stand for? And what are the values that your company will stand behind if your employee or someone in your establishment is carrying himself this way?
All right.
If maybe Popeye says this guy can't come eat at their establishment anymore.
Right.
Or any, maybe not just him, but people that carry themselves this way. So, if we can't get it from the government, then if the people are supporting these establishments, then, your dollar should speak, volumes of maybe people don't support these things, you know?
So let me ask this question: where does the employee who was in the part of the altercation, do they get terminated?
I mean,
I know they sounded like they were a young kid,
Right.
like they were a teenager of some
Yeah.
sort. But it comes, it begs the question. I guess the question I'm asking is: yes, they're young.
yes,
They still have time to
yes,
change. Now the man, he has time to change
Right.
too. He can always grow
right,
and learn. But the kid,
yeah.
what do we do with them?
I think that it has to be some type of conduct, understanding of how he should conduct himself too. I mean, you can't expect people to be totally non-emotional in that type of situation, but at the same time, we don't know how this started. We just see what happened after the fact.
Right.
If he was a person that instigated it, he can't work there anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you have to know that your actions will not be acceptable if you're instigating possible violence or hate
Against yourself or
anyone else.
Yeah, because anyone in the store could be hurt.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if somebody would have tried to come to his defense, if a fight would have broke out and then somebody ends up getting hurt or killed or anything, or it could turn to an ongoing thing. Like, you can't have somebody in your business conducting themselves that way.
Yeah.
So it just becomes a larger problem that could be alleviated if people would carry themselves respectfully.
Well, like you said earlier, you mentioned about the laws.
Yes.
And everything. So one of the things that if you are someone who is maybe you're an activist of some sort, and you want to make a difference, make a change. Maybe this is one of those grounds that you can use to grab gain traction in being able to be and use that and fight for some legislation when it comes to these type of individuals and instances that take place, and being able to get some sort of law in place to make it illegal, where people have to think twice about verbally assaulting individuals, because we see it far too frequently.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because on one side you do want to have free speech, but on the other side of the coin, you don't want to have terroristic threats either.
Right.
So it has to be some middle ground where people can voice their opinions, but not be kind of instigating or inciting some type of violent activity.
Right. Right.
So if someone wanted to possibly get the statistics on, how often this may have occurred, or what the actions are behind this,
right,
that'd be a way for them to stir up some type of legal documentation or activity where we now need to address this because this has taken place so many times.
Right. I think overall, you're right on that. Legislation needs to come into play. What do you call sensitivity training?
Yeah.
And maybe instead of jail time, sensitivity training is necessary instead of. Yeah. Everything costs.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna pay the cost, you might as well, make it the right price.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's worth the cost,
right,
time and trouble that you might have to go through, what the city, state, county may have to pay for I won't call it rehabilitation, but the training itself. Somebody's got to put together a program. Somebody has to teach the program.
Yeah.
And so in lieu of jail time, you take these classes.
Right.
So I don't know, it may be an option or something that a state can use to help make a change.
Yeah.
Because if we can change, if we know better, we can do better.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that, again, that is by choice.
Right.
But if we know better, we can do better.
Yeah.
So I think that's our time for now on this topic. Any last words today?
Like we like to say around Black Push, the mission is greater than us all. And beyond that, you know, try to do the right thing in life, and hopefully the right things happen.
Yes, indeed, indeed. So thank you for tuning in with us again on Black Push, Push Talk. And we just want to say thank you again. Remember to, as we are fast approaching election time and everything, be very diligent in doing your research as to who the candidates are, as to the various issues that are taking place in your communities. Midterms are so very important. Make sure you know that you know for a fact that you are registered to vote. And then when it's time, get out and go vote. Okay? So again, I'm going to keep saying this over and over and over again until we do, you know, until the job gets done. The mission is bigger than us all. So until then, have a great day. Have a wonderful evening.